Welcome, friends. Our today's book is How to ADHD, an insider guide to working with your brain, not against it, by Jessica McCabe and published by Rodale Books, an imprint or a subdivision of Penguin Random House. So we have a couple of chapters on this, mainly talking about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So you know that. So chapters is this is not something about what of ADHD, something about how to just live with it. That's how it is. So some chapters are how to fail at everything, how to ADHD, hyper focus, executive function. Who have ADHD will have problem with executive function, sleep. Sleep is one of the most difficult thing. A perception of time, motivation is a challenging thing for ADHD, and remembering the memories and working memory and all, the feelings and dealing with people and all these things, and making it ADHD harder. That's all. That are some of the chapters and all. So as I mentioned, distractions, forgetfulness, losing place or something, boredom is something a common issue. There is a big chance that you have an ADHD and all. Author is having a self-reference. Actually, she got a YouTube channel on the same name, How to ADHD, and she's very famous on that. But as a disclaimer, this is just a book summary only. Please consult your physician or someone else for expert opinion for medical topics and all. So let's get started. So chapter 1, how to fail at everything. So author, like any normal smart kid, she was very good at school. Even she was just par excellent in school. An example is that she used to study high school topics when she was in normal below high school and all. Even for an essay about duck and all, she even went to duck farm and had some duck eggs and all. That's about that. But at the age of 12 and all, she got diagnosed with ADD, which is attention deficit disorder, which we now call as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. But the point is at that time, the doctor prescribed some stimulants and all, just to, because one of the main problem of ADD is lack of stimulation and motivations and all. The point is that she got married, then she got divorced, then she just tried to get for jobs and all. So there was some perceived inadequacy, not doing enough, or something we feel like constantly feel a pressure to do more. So she was struggling with that, and she was trying to get an acting career and all. A turning point happened by an acting coach. Her name is Alison Robertson. She just Jessica just asked the coach, how can I lose 10 pounds more? Because that's what the norm to get into acting and all. So she just told that you don't need to be smaller, you need to be bigger. Because what you have in your mind is something like a 12-year-old. That time you are smaller, but now you are more age now. You can take space. So that was something like a turning point in her life. Chapter 2, how to ADD or ADHD. The term attention deficit is actually something misleading, because the point is that it is not that they cannot put attention on something. The point is that they cannot attention on something which they wanted. So there is no control on it. Like it's like a car which doesn't have a brake, something like that. Or it just go, it can ride, car will just move, but we don't know how to control the speed, where to move the steering and all. So more than a behavioral issue, uh, ADHD is a neurological problem. So ADHD was being diagnosed by higher divorce rates, unemployment, accidents, lot of things. The point is that this ADHD actually will make you successful in some time, and most of the time. Because ADHD people, they can have hyper focus, they can have creativity, divergent thinking. So struggles will be unnoticed by success. So the solution is that connect with you and working with your brain. That's where the solution is. Chapter 3, how to hyper focus. So hyper focus in ADHD is something like a tunnel. You are in a tunnel and you somehow don't know or you cannot get out of it or something like that. It's like you are going to get sick by focus or something in that way. So it is that much problematic. The point is that those people with ADHD, they have more gray matter in their brain and all. That's also causing this hyper focus. The point is that the solution, because this book is not talking about diagnosing something, how to just manage and live a helpful life or a thriving life out of it. So she put an acronym called FOCUS, which is something tell her to figure out the cause and use a strategy. So try to understand what is the cause of this hyper focus and use a strategy to help in your life, something like that. So practice non-judgmental redirection, which another way called John Davidson used to talk about in mindfulness and all, like non-judgmental redirection. That's what mindfulness is, that you're not judging anything. Everything is coming to you. Every thought just come and flow to you like that, like a mystical way. That's how it is. So make space for that hyper focus. Let that happen, but put guardrail. Like, for example, the focus, hyper focus, you can use it in some way, like make a space for it or let it happen. But put a guardrail on that one. That's important. And move your body. That's important as well. Because neurobiology, you cannot only solve it by psychology, you can solve it by physiology as well. So moving your body, that exercise and all, and also resting your body. Resting your body doesn't mean only just sleeping on your bed. It can be another way like meditation and stretching exercise, a lot of things. And also practice divergent thinking. You don't have to just stick to one path of thinking like that. Just think outside the box. Just practice this divergent thinking. Let that hyper focus thing, just use it in another way, use it to your advantage. Chapter 4 about executive function. What it generally mean, like an example, if you're in a classroom and a teacher just asks a question, without just raising your hand or something, you just spell your answer. That's what executive function, if you put a simple example. Or another way, executive function of your brain is the CEO of your brain. That is what make the system to follow the rules and manage everything and all these things. So without that, you are somebody like a company or a corporation or a multi-billion dollar corporation without a CEO, something like that. So there is no regulation and there is no planning and strategic and such things and all. Response inhibition, which I told you previously about, like we are not able to control the action and the stimulus. It just become automatic. There is no control on that one. It can go in different ways. Then working memory. People with ADHD have a problem with the working memory. They cannot put too much things on your mind and they cannot multitask also. Set shifting. They cannot multitask the problem. So the point is that sometime you have to be somewhere like a hot thinking and cool thinking. Hot thinking is something like an affection, empathy, and such things on decision making. Sometimes you need to be cool, logical in decision making. With an ADHD brain, you cannot switch that easily. So the point is that the solution, these are all the problems, but the solution is that you can simplify your things. That makes the executive function easy, like minimalism, something like that. And say no to a lot of things. You don't have to take all the multitasking things. That's one part of the things. Also, accommodate and help yourself. Like, for example, if you have a working memory problem, you can have a lot of ways to do that. For example, you can make a note. Or if you're keep thinking about you forgot remembering something, you can add it to a calendar or you can whatever it is. Even you can email yourself. So help yourself. That's the point. And ADHD tax. What does that mean is that because of ADHD, you are maybe going to pay a lot of things. Like, for example, you may forget paying a bill, then that penalty is a tax. Like that, lot of things, direct or indirect, will be affecting you. But the point is that you have to build a system around you that works for you. That's the main thing. But for sure, this ADHD have therapies and all these things like cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical therapy. A lot of things are there. But the point is that that should be taken care. But at the same time, you should take it to your advantage and understand and support yourself. With support, ADHD will be like a superhero, superpower. Without it, it will be a nightmare. That's what it is. Chapter 5, How to Sleep. Sleep, sleep apnea, insomnia, daytime sleep. These are all the problems faced by ADHD. For sure, there are other people facing it, but ADHD people have this problem of sleep and time. But those are the things which is prevalent on most of the people. The point is that, as I mentioned, the brain lacks stimulation or motivation. It is always seeking that motivation, and it will try to just stay like something like we have with the sugar. Same like says thinking. It is keep on trying for to get it. So we feel like we are not tired yet. That's one reason we'll not go to sleep. We are not done. Like we just try to do something which you think, okay, it is okay, let us do 1 more hour. It is fine. Okay, tomorrow I can sleep. Okay, you have something to do. You can do it tomorrow, but still you will do it done. You are not done. And you are too stimulated. That also will not get you into brain. Like you have that stimulation in your work, then some part of it you taken to your home, then you try to do some more, like looking at your email or doing some work at night, something more. That stimulation is not going down. So you cannot just shut down your brain and go for sleep. And there is revenge bedtime procrastination, which is something like you are revenging the bed somewhere, like video game or looking at the web series or a lot of such things, because people think sleep is a non-productive and a boring topic. That reason, especially those people who are thinking about being productive and successful, they try to take this as an advantage. But somehow if they have an ADHD, then that will just multiply like that. So prioritizing that amount of sleep, that's really important, because the way your brain should function tomorrow, sleep, maybe you think it is not need for it, but your brain and your body needs that. So the blue light, hard, and caffeine, something like blue light, we told that blue light reduction and such things, yes, that is important. Also, caffeine also depends actually, because some people, in the book itself is telling, some people get into bed by coffee. Personally, myself, like I like to have a tea to go to sleep. That's the point. So it depends on the people, but generally the rule is that less caffeine, low blue light, and such things. So, but motivate the sleep. Try to appreciate the sleep. And the point is that you can have day sleep, wind down and all, but try to enjoy that wind down time. Like, for example, you're going to bed at 11. Just think that there is a ceremony, like make it like a ceremony for you. Like at 10 o'clock, you make a ceremony for yourself. For wind down, you can put a music or put a warm light, whatever. Just put some perfumes, whatever it is. Just appreciate your day and let your body enjoy that. And the point is a chronotype also, because people used to tell that people who wake up early are wise and all. That's a moral of that. But the research is telling it's not that much moral in that sense. For sure, it has the benefits waking up early and all. But you should look at the back chronotype, and also You should think about a backup plan for sleep issues, because even you sometime maybe you're not get the best thing is that you stick a time for sleep so that your body will automatically go into sleep. Second thing, as we mentioned, don't take any task, whatever is that, don't push it further. It is not going to be productive. If you work more tonight, it is not going to be productive. You will lose the next day. You are lose the most 8 hours next day. You are only gaining 1 hour now. So you're losing 7 hours. So that's the point. Chapter 6, how to see time. So as I mentioned, time perception and planning is a problem for ADHD. We don't understand the time as it is real. Sometimes we just misestimate or we estimate it wrongly. So time wisdom is important. You should plan backward instead of, if somebody asks you how long it will take, ADHD will always estimate it lower most of the time. So you have to just plan backward and try to have time when time doesn't matter. Like suppose you have all the day of a day, particular day, to do anything. Just enjoy that. But when you need time, just be managing or balance your time management. So instead of scheduling, sequence your activities. Like if you plan backward, you'll understand I have to do this and this. So plan backward so that you complete everything. You know the next sequence, because naturally, as we mentioned earlier, we have working memory problem as well. So keep some day meeting free, like what Ali Abdal's book in early and all we talk about, like that rate of principle and all similar to that. Meeting free or take a time vacation. Time vacation is something like you just forgot about the time. Just stay some time without any clocks or in something like that. Set aside some flexible days. That will be helpful. Chapter 7, motivate your brain. So dopamine, as we know, it is required for motivation and such thing and all. But people with ADHD, they have a problem of called temporal discounting, or we call it somewhere in economics and all myopia and all. Where the thing is that we don't try to understand something long term. We always try to appreciate the short term things. And we less being motivated extrinsically, we are more motivated intrinsically. So there are a lot of this emotional barriers and all. So the solution to that is that motivation, to motivate something, you don't have to wait for motivation. Just action can generate motivation. So reduce the friction for action. Like what Ali Abdal's or early version about 5-minute principle and all. Reduce the time to get into action. Like just to start the something. Then grease the wheels. So reduce the friction and grease the wheel so that you will get into action easily. Then action will generate motivation for you. That's one part. Then accountability. You should make yourself accountable, or someone else make you accountable also. That's important as well. And lastly, make the rewards more salient for you. So you make your action, reward yourself, appreciate yourself. Chapter 8, how to remember stuff. Because the problem, as we mentioned, we have not more than retrieving some information, like memory wise. The more problem with ADHD is difficulties in encoding an information. So encoding it to the memory. So few are working memory, that's natural, both verbally and auditorily. Both way, we have a less working memory, and we have to hard to remember the recently acquired information. So the point is that, as I mentioned, you can make use of the tools or help yourself with the tools. You can use electronic notes and all. Like even nowadays, there are some smart notebooks where you can write something and it will even go to a electronic notebook like Rocket Book and all. I'm just suggesting from my personal experience. So you can use calendars, apps, lot of things, and lower your demand on working memory. Like if your limitation is plus or minus 7, that is the working memory usually people research is telling, Lower your demand or follow one task at a time, monotasking instead of multitasking, and improve the encoding by cues and meaningful ideas, like what memory palace ideas and all. Similar to that, try to encode your cues because encoding is what difficult, encoding and decoding. So also forgetting, sure, naturally forgetting is a gift as well. So you can selectively ignore a lot of things. You are not supposed to capture everything around you. You can selectively ignore something so that your working memory always will have a space to get in what you needed. Chapter 9 about how to feel flooded. So as naturally ADHD we will have hyper reaction and no control of the reaction. So in another way, it will have ADHD people diagnosed will have mood disorders, chances for depressions and all. Also, they will have a dissociation, which like memory dissociations and all, anhedonia, which is lack of interest in pleasure and such things, and alexithymia, like not able to describe the emotions and such things. All these things will come and part and parcel of ADHD in varying degrees, actually. But the name and taming that emotion and labeling it, that could be a solution. So you can make space for some emotions also. You don't have to rely on something, you can rely on yourself and make a space for some emotion and find emotional balance. That will help you as well. Chapter 10, how to people. It is told that ADHD people, they make the friends fast. Like they will be very much eager to make a friendship with someone, strangers like that. Because our Ralph Waldo Emerson told that first of all, you have to be friend with yourself. Then you can be friend with someone else. So mostly our relationship is something like we have multiple layers of relationship. Like we have intimate relationship, maybe with our family members and all these things. Then we have friends, which is just outer of that. Then we have participatory friends like that, which is we participate in a lot of maybe work or any other activities or something. And there is exchanging level of which is very, very much formal, like in a business level and all. So the point is that we have to first figure out what we have to offer. You don't have to just get into a friendship. Like figure out what you have to offer and meet new people, but level up your social skills and socializing routine. But try to give some time for a friendship to happen. Friendship is not something you just go and get into that. Try to have that understanding and let it build up. You don't have to make it very fast like that. That's one good solution to avoid such, because there can be positive and negative aspects of a friendship. If you don't understand a person who they are and you get into some transactions, you will be end up in trouble as well. Chapter 10, how to make ADHD harder. So experience in ADHD it will differ between people to people. It is a biopsychosocial nature of ADHD. So sure, one part of it will be coming from genetics, and in the same way, it can have an effect by a generations of trauma. So if a trauma and ADHD combined, that is going to make a lot of things complicated. That's why it is getting varying degrees between people to people. And learning disabilities actually is much prevalent. 43 to 55% author is mentioning in ADHD. Dyslexia, difficult in reading. Dyscalculia, about maths and such skills and all. Dysgraphia, about writing and such things. All this having a problem, mostly prevalent in ADHD. Oppositional defiant disorder, ODD, which we used to know like children's always oppose with their parents. Such people, you can have a greater chance that they will be having an ADHD and all. These are all just some clues. Then depression, and even 10% of ADHD, they have a chance to have a PTSD as well. These are all something like making ADHD more harder. Like ADHD can in different level. can have a hyper focus, but something when it is combined with a lot of such things, dyslexia, PTSD, dysgraphia, ODD, and such depressions and all, it will make problematic. So you should always consider it more seriously, and you should approach a proper medical practitioner and all. Chapter 12, how to heart. So you should appreciate your struggles and effort. That's important as well, because ADHD, as we mentioned, it can have a curse as well as a gift as well. So challenges with the existing support system, because even the author, she done all this research herself and she got a channel and all. She herself have an ADHD. She's telling if somebody with that information is able to solve something, I could be the best person. But she's telling I'm still not there. So you always try to find some support systems around you, and you should tell someone, communicate openly to your members, family members, and they should support each other. Seek treatment, that is important. And also choose your battles. Because in ADHD, you don't have to battle with everything. Can choose something what is worth fighting for and collaborate on solutions. Look for good things. Take care of yourself and importance of planning. All these things will be helpful to understand lot of things. So that's somehow the conclusion of the chapter. There is one more chapter about generally talking about general things, but overall, this is the 12th chapter conclusion. If you like to just read one more book, we have one more book in our channel called Scattered Minds by Gabriel Mate. Please have a check on that. Until then, bye for now.